Welcome to the Nightly Rant. I'm Mike.
And I'm Torya.
This is the show where we talk about the awful things that have happened in our day, the awesome things that have happened in our day,
and all the things in between.
Thanks for listening, and we truly hope you enjoy. So, today was, an interesting but long day.
Kinda
Well, I got enough done. There's still a lot to do, but I got enough done.
Well, that's good.
And I think I'll be on track to be where I want to be.
I feel similarly about today. I got stuff done.
Good.
I would like to get a little bit more stuff done, but I'll still get more stuff done before bed.
Knowing you, yes, you will. But that's also because you like to keep your commitments.
And I'd like to spend the weekend with you and not have to worry about getting anything done.
Right. I might have some reading to do, but that's about it.
That is what it is. I have
still sit next to each other and read,
Yep.
But commitments.
It is because I like to keep my commitments, which is apparently something that's not very common anymore.
Yeah, it seems like so many people make commitments and then completely fail to follow through on those commitments.
Yep. It seems like it happens more than it doesn't. I mean, more people fail to follow through with the commitments than actually follow through with the commitments.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that. I think that what my experience has been is that people will be on your side about something. They'll say they want to help. They'll even commit to a job as far as helping, and then they won't do any of the work that the job requires.
Right, and then they just use the fact that they've quote unquote done this job to sell themselves, but never actually do the job.
Yeah.
And I think that's really freaking annoying.
Yeah, it is. It's frustrating because I think people need to be real with one another so that everyone can make a fair decision about what they're going to do next, what their next step is. Because if you're counting on another person, you need to know what their skill set is, where their commitment level is.
I mean,
that's important, because if you put them in charge of something really important and they're a flake, guess who has to pick up the slack?
Well, I mean, like, take into example the contractor dude that we had. And you trusted him enough that you had him as the lead developer. And then he made a commitment to complete a job for X number of dollars. And then before he even starts the job, he's like, no. It's going to be like quadruple that. And just fucks everything. And when you say, but you committed to this, he goes, but I need more money. And you say, but you committed to this, he goes, never mind, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, forget it, I quit.
What?
Yeah.
What is that?
And then if you remember, he immediately sent me an invoice. Okay, so let's say this happened on a Monday. That day he sent me an invoice. Already on Tuesday he's threatening me that if I don't pay the invoice, he has ways of really ruining me and blah, 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 blah. I'm 1 day in.
Yep. He screws us over and then gets to threaten us?
But we got the good end of that one.
What? Yeah.
In the end, we ultimately got to get it. I mean, it lost us those 2 clients. I mean, you know what I find really weird about that?
What?
That's another thing that's kind of strange. Neither one of those clients has ever reached out to me about the projects. They just stopped talking about it.
So it's clients too. Clients.
So I sent an email saying, here's the status of the fixes. Can you please test it?
Yeah.
And they never responded back, ever. Not once. Never, ever.
That's ridiculous.
So, And they've never contacted me on Skype. Nothing.
Well, they suck, so there's that. They can go pound sand too.
But what's interesting, as I was saying, it was kind of a win for us because I let that developer know that he cost us money.
Right.
And I let him know exactly how much of that cost was because of him.
Right.
And then he paid us back the money.
Yeah, that's the one thing that was kind of good about it. But it was still crap.
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah. Or like people that you go out of your way to help them get work only for them to not really do the job.
Yeah. And that's burned us a couple of times.
Yeah.
Man, I even recommended a miscellaneous virtual assistant to Joel from the VA groups because he wanted somebody to do a lot of writing, and we both know how I feel about doing writing. And she was all like gung-ho about it. She was sending me all these Facebook messages to remind me to let Joel know because it took me like a week to actually tell him. And then
Right.
she never joined Slack. She never contacted him. She never did any of it. Like, what the heck is that?
Huh.
It's a good thing that there was two of them and the other one wasn't a flake.
Well, if you needed a writer, why didn't you use that Matt guy?
He's too expensive.
You get what you pay for.
Yeah.
I found that out. Whoa. I don't know. Why is it that people are like that, though? Like, how come... I don't recall that being the way things always have been. So what's changed that has people suddenly not following through on commitments?
I don't know, but if I hear one person blame millennials, I'm going to punch them in the throat.
Well,
that's how I feel
they're
about
neither
that.
the cause nor the solution.
No, they're just a being that's contributing to the problem.
Exactly. And I think really, when you think about it, people's lack of commitment to things, it's like kind of a security blanket for something. Like, I don't know.
What do you mean?
Well, like, I don't know. It's almost like they're trying to make life easier on themselves. I don't know. Like, but you know, they'll say that they're going to do things so that then they can go around and tell other people, well, I'm helping, you know, the Big Brothers and Sisters organization teach karate classes, and then they just never show up to teach the karate classes.
Right.
So they get all the praise, and they even get people thinking later, years later, that, oh yeah, you're the one who taught the karate classes at the Boys and Girls Club.
Yep.
I'm going to hire you to do this. And they never say jack squat diddly about the fact that they actually never showed up. But that's the thing. It's almost like they need that.
They
want to
use it for
steal
status building.
Yeah, they want to steal the status, but they don't want to put in the effort.
Right. That actually makes a lot of sense. Why am I being used as a
Well, I'm glad that makes sense to you, because the look you gave me was like it didn't make sense.
Well, it didn't until you explained it. Now I understand, though. Why are there so many cats crowding at my feet?
I don't know what's going on with that, but the two lady cats got up here and they're like together. They're like in an army together. And then the boy cat was kind of just chilling behind you. So it wasn't like they were stalking him or anything. And the dog's over here. So I don't know what the deal is here, but they're like in a...
There's a cat posse.
What's it called? An alliance, those two right now.
Well, they were playing earlier.
They're kind of cute. You know, you can see more about them on the Zoo Report. Good show.
Yep.
Look it up.
Demons being cute.
They're so sweet.
Come on, there's a free episode of the Zoo Report out right now.
Can we? Yes, there is a free episode out.
Can we what?
Where is it? Where can they find it?
IamZoo.com.
That's right, the Zoom Media Network. But can we talk about something?
Maybe.
Can we talk about that dog from this morning?
Of course.
That dog is cute.
Yes.
That dog makes me sad.
We don't have room for another
That dog needs its like permanent daddy and mommy. That's what that dog needs.
Yeah.
That dog is 5 years old, man.
Mm-hmm.
That dog ain't exactly young. It ain't exactly old, but it ain't.
At least she has a
exactly
nice foster home.
And she looks so sweet. In all of her pictures, she's got those little "I love you" eyes on it, with her eyes closed. It's so cute. And we have named her Chusky. That's her name.
Because she's chubby and looks like a tiny husky?
Yeah. So she's Chusky. She's a Chihuahua Husky.
You're strange.
No, Chusky is strange.
That's
You'll
also
see.
true.
But then Chusky will sit right here when we podcast.
No.
Yes,
No.
she will. And Yogi will sit right here like he is right now. It'll be the Chusky and Yogi show.
Oh my god. You're the worst.
Yep. I bet Chusky would jump over the fence.
I think Chusky was too fat to jump over the fence.
Chusky's adorable. But yeah, if you know anyone that wants a really, 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 really super duper cute
Chihuahua Husky mix.
Chihuahua Husky mix.
Fully potty trained.
Fully potty trained completely. It's crazy. Send me a message on Facebook or email me at podcast@fitnessexpose.com. fitnessexpose.com. And we'll hook you up.
We will,
This
we will,
cute
we will.
puppy dog. So back to people who don't keep their commitments.
Oh! Other people who don't keep their commitments. Speaking of homeless animals, there's a big fluffy cat living in our apartment building. He has white feet. Some people call him Boots. I call him Mr. Fluffs because he's ridiculous. He lets me love him and pet him,
What
scratch
were you
his
calling
ears.
him yesterday?
Boots.
No, something about Mao Man or something like that.
Oh, General Mao.
General Mao. That was hilarious. My gosh.
Well, he sounds like Mao. He's got this like low derpy meow sound. I don't know what's wrong with him.
Pretty girl's looking. She knows who you're talking about.
Well, I also kicked her by accident.
Pretty girl knows who you're talking about. She
Anyway.
said Mr. Fluffs is a weirdo.
We tried to find this dude a home before it got too cold outside because we feel bad for him because he used to be a house cat and his douchey ass owners let him run out of the house when they were moving out and then never came back for him despite the fact that we contacted them multiple times to let them know their cat was here. So they're assholes and I hate them. That's the first point. If you're going to commit to owning an animal, fucking follow through with it. Don't be a massive douche. Continue owning said animal or find it a good home. Don't just let it run out of the house and say, well, there goes the cat. Because that makes you an asshole. Anyway, that wasn't my point. That was just a sidetrack.
Funny.
Ask me how I really feel about these people. Anyway, so we try to find him a home, and I get 3 people who are super, super interested. Person number 1. They're gung-ho. They think he's so dang cute, because I took a video of him making his deep-ass meow sound, and it was adorable. They're super interested. We go. I confirm with them before we go catch him that they're still interested. No, we decided to get a kitten. What? How did you not know this 24 hours ago? How? How did you not know that?
Why was there no communication to us to tell us that when they made that decision?
Precisely. I agree.
And that's because they don't care about their commitment.
Person number 2 was a person contacting me. They have a rescue. Somebody was willing to foster him. And I think a foster home is better than being homeless for a cat.
Correct.
So,
Pretty girl agrees.
with her big ass teeth.
Yes.
So, but then they fell through. Like,
That cat.
the person who was going to foster him is no longer interested.
What you doing, girl?
How do you commit to taking an animal into your home and then just change your mind? I understand that there's extenuating circumstances, but there was no extenuating circumstances in either of these things.
But here it is.
The person was just no
I'm going
longer
to tell you.
interested.
I'm going to tell you what it is. Someone else will take care of the problem for them. They know they know that someone at the rescue will find someone else to foster that animal. They're gonna do it.
There's a reason we don't foster with any rescues.
Yep, this is why.
Because I would always say yes. And we would have so many cats.
Okay. The rescues, though, are pretty good about trying to make sure, well, most of them anyway, that you're within the legal limits. Because they don't want to have trouble with the police and, the animal control and all that. They don't want to deal with that. So, like, the dog rescue place, they would only let us have, one at a time because we had our own dogs.
Right.
And they didn't want us to be illegal. So, but you do get to the point where, like, one goes and you're already saying, well, when is there going to be more fosters coming? And every so often you'd get the one, oh, well, Janelle, yeah, well, she has this really nice black and white one, and he, he loves their family and everything, but, Janelle hasn't been feeling well, so she can't keep him anymore. So you could take him, and then, of course, you say, yeah, bring the dog,
Right.
Because you don't want to leave the poor dog out there.
Well, it's like, we had a conversation before the kittens and that came into our house. About, we were going to do this, we were going to find the homes, we made a commitment that we were going to see it through until all the kittens and the mama had a home.
Yep.
And we did that. We saw it through. And we didn't change our mind halfway through and drop them off at the nearest shelter and and then just be like, no, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore.
No.
Or turf them back outside. No, I don't want to do this anymore.
No.
We followed it freaking through. So why is it so hard for people to keep any sort of commitment?
Because they only care about themselves. When you only care about yourself, what do you care if the other person's pissed off?
People are the worst.
But, like, people don't think about the fact that when you recommend somebody for a job, like anybody for any job, when you give a job recommendation, they damn well better come through. Because that is a reflection on you.
Right. At least give it their best. You can't fault them for not being good enough if they're giving their best.
Correct. I completely agree with you. But that's been an issue. Right?
Yep.
I mean, I just don't understand it. How come my feelings aren't important?
Well, exactly. I don't know. I feel like if people valued the relationship that they have with you, then they would get on it and actually, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like the contractor. If he valued his business relationship with us, he would have sucked it up and made at least a compromise.
Yeah, but do you remember that he was asking us if we had the copy of his resume that he had provided for his bio on the site?
Yeah.
And he had asked that before he pulled that shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because he had another large project that he was applying for, and they were interviewing him, and he needed to provide a resume.
Yeah.
And that he got that project, and that's why he told us to pound sand.
And when he comes running back, because that project's over, I will promptly tell him to go pound sand.
Exactly. I'm 100% with you on that. I mean, I've taken the tack in the new year that any of the contractors that work with us, they're going to do the job we ask them to do using the tools we ask them to use and going to communicate the way we ask them to communicate, or they're not going to work with us.
Right.
And I've come to this conclusion after much discussion about, like, podcast guests and what tools do you use, and do you let them choose the tools or do you choose the tools? And then someone was like, well, you don't hire a plumber, and tell the plumber what tools he's allowed to use.
Right.
So you shouldn't do that to a podcast interviewer.
Right.
The person's interviewing you for their podcast. You just use the tools they ask you to use. If they want to get you on Skype, you damn well use Skype. Don't try to tell them what's better.
Well, and it's the same thing with a virtual assistant. You're hiring this person as a consultant to do this work for you. Don't tell them what tools they need to use. I respect if you need them to be in your project management, but don't try to tell them they're no longer allowed to use their project management tool as well.
Right. That's true. I mean, actually, part of the law about independent contractors is they can't dictate the hours you work or the tools you use.
Ow. She assaulted me.
Well, she's tired of getting kicked in the face.
I didn't kick her.
You did earlier.
I poked her in the belly with my toe.
Well, she's tired of getting poked in the belly with your toe. So she tried to assault your foot. And that's exactly what she's going to do now. Aren't you? Get her. Here comes Mr. Parker.
Oh, there's so many cats in this house.
Mr. Cat. Here he comes. Mr. Cat. Hello, Mr. Yaga.
Hi, Mr. Cat. He's a butt nugget.
Anyway,
That's what he is.
Here is the thing. Unless there's ramifications for their actions, people are not going to keep their commitment to you.
Okay.
And I've realized this. And what's really funny is when you act that way and you're firm about it, it's interesting the reaction you get. Like, okay, the situation that I was in with Mark.
Okay.
He started bugging me a lot about, have you gotten any more projects? Have you gotten any more projects? Have you gotten any more projects? He was clearly hurting financially.
Right.
And needed money. But it also reflected in his time quotes for new jobs.
Right.
Because when Mark used to quote $2,000 for something, he was suddenly quoting $5,000 for the same something.
Right.
So in the one particular instance, I'm not going to go into much detail about, but he overbid even the budget
By
for the
double.
job. Okay?
Right.
Like, it was way outrageously high. And I told him, well, the client gave us one shot at it, and one shot only, and your bid was way too high. Because my point was, that's exactly what I was doing. I had two contractors bidding. Whichever one gave me the best quote was the one I was going to go with, because they were both good developers.
Right.
Well, he screwed up and did that. And then he comes back and he cuts his bid in half and tells me I should go ask the customer because they'll probably be happy that he gave them a discount. And I said to him, no, what they're going to think is you tried to rip them off the first time around.
Yeah, that's how I would feel.
You would feel like they tried to rip you off the first time around.
Right. And I mean, okay.
Agreed. I agree with you. That's how I would feel too.
I think that the situation where I dropped my hourly rate for the long-term client that I now have is different. Because it's an hourly rate. I feel like dropping an hourly rate is different than dropping a giant flat rate.
Well, but I'm going to tell you an even bigger way that it's different. Imagine if you told that long-term client when you very first met them that my bottom line hourly rate is X.
Right.
And then they said, well, we're not willing to pay X. Forget it. Hasta la bye-bye. And then you go, all right, X minus 5. That's the exact example that we're talking about.
Right.
He gave me a quote.
That was his very
X.
best offer.
Yes, that was his best quote. It was X. Then when I told him pound sand, the client didn't like that quote. Suddenly his new quote was X divided by 2.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
And then what I was getting at, to prove that works and is effective, that approach of being direct, I then proceeded to tell him that, look, you're a good developer, and I like you, and I like working with you, and we can make a lot of money together.
Uh-huh.
But you have to listen to what I'm telling you and pay careful attention when you're quoting and not overcharge.
Right.
Because if you overcharge, we won't get the work.
Right.
And if we don't get the work, it doesn't matter that you were trying to milk more money out of somebody. You didn't get
Not gonna
paid.
get any money at all.
Right.
Exactly.
And that's kind of like what we were talking about at lunch today, about like now we just have the attitude to just grab everything that comes our way. And if it's more work than we can handle, that's okay. We'll find a way to handle it.
Exactly. Yep. We'll make it work.
Exactly. And that's also part of keeping commitments.
Yep.
Because no matter what work we take on, we're going to get that work finished. Always.
Exactly.
I don't know. I think I'm really looking forward to this weekend. It's funny, Mitchell's talking about these high-ranked teams that they're going to play. And
is he worried?
He doesn't seem like he's worried. Because he remembers the whole situation with the Washington team as well.
Right.
And he knows that on any given day, things can happen. And let's face it, come on now. This team this year, way better than the team last year.
Yeah, I think they would have wiped the floor with all three teams from last year.
Yeah, so much better.
Well, you can kind of tell they're a better team, too, by what bracket they're playing in.
Yeah. So, we shall see what happens, but it's going to be fun no matter what.
Yep.
And I kind of like the win or lose. I like the idea of seeing the boys playing some elite competition.
Yeah, you know what? It'll at least be a challenge.
Right. Because it's never fun when it's just a cakewalk.
Right. I mean, as nice as it would be to make it really far, meh. It'll be nice to go. It'll be nice for them to have a challenge. It'll be nice to watch them play some new teams.
Yeah, something
big deal.
different for a change. Exactly. It's kind of exciting, though. I mean, and I'm looking forward to having lunch with Amy.
I am too.
Seeing how she's doing.
It'll be nice to see her
and see how she's doing. How the transition is going to Vegas.
Definitely.
I mean, nice thing about that is it's still driving distance from here. So, you know, it's not like no one will ever go there or she won't ever come here. But it's still, it's a big psychological change. It's huge.
It is.
Huge.
Well, it's funny because I asked her if she wanted to have lunch with us and she thought I meant that she needed to drive here. No. We're coming there.
That's funny.
It is funny.
That's cute. When you first told me that, I didn't grasp what you just said, but now I grasp it. That's funny. That's hilarious. So, Anyway, well, I don't really have much else I want to rant about, so.
I think I'm all ranted out.
Well, good. Well, good. I guess you have a little bit more work to do, so I'll probably read more in my book. But
watch some shitty TV.
Hope everybody has a great rest of the week. We'll be back at you again tomorrow night.
Yeah, we will.
And like I said, we're also, just a reminder, we are going to have an episode from Vegas. And then, big announcement, the Zoo Media Network's free week during my birthday week from January 14th to January 20th.
A whole week of awesome free content.
All the content created that week
will be free.
So check it out, because you never know what you fall in love with. And a lot of great shows. I'll put some of the shows in the show notes on the website.
Which means
the
our
nightly
uncensored Mike and Torya, Chatting with Mike and Torya episode from Sunday will be a freebie.
Yep, and then it's the nightlyrant.wordpress.com is where you can see the show notes for this episode. And this will be episode 27, I believe. So check it out, all right?
Sounds good. Talk to y'all tomorrow night.
Hasta la bye-bye. Hey, this is Mike, and I just wanted to tell you that if you enjoyed the show, and I truly hope you did, you can subscribe on iTunes or Google Play and not miss a single episode. But if you happened to miss an episode and you didn't find it on Google Play or iTunes for some reason, you could go to our website, which is thenightly.rant.wordpress.com.